Good evening, everyone. Selamat datang di At America. My name is Jasmine. I'm one of the e-guides here at America. Dan kalau kalian punya pertanyaan tentang At America, kalian boleh langsung nanya aja ke aku atau ke rekan-rekan e-guides yang lainnya. So for those of you who have never been to At America before, At America is the American Culture Center here in Jakarta. We hold diverse events, sharing information about the United States through our events. Nah, aku mau kasih tahu dulu nih beberapa upcoming events kita. So At America just had its 8th anniversary. Can we get a warm round of applause for At America? And part of our 8th anniversary celebration, we are going to have a presentation, Inspiring Ladies. So for those of you who are interested in this event, this will be held on Tuesday, on the 18th, from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Dan selanjutnya masih tentang ngerayain 8th anniversary kita bakal ngadain talk show Meet Indonesia's Digital Mavens. Bagi kalian yang tertarik untuk ikut acara ini, kalian boleh langsung datang aja hari Kamis tanggal 20 Desember dari jam 6.30 sore sampai jam 8.30 malam. Semua acara-acara di Amerika gratis and no registration is needed, jadi langsung aja datang, bring all your friends and family to come to At America's events. And these are the highlights from the past events that has happened at America. I would like to invite you guys to become our member. It's really easy. Go to our website at www.atamerica.or.id. Click register, fill in your name and your email address, and you will get our free newsletter once a week through your email. And also, At America has lots of social media platforms. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. And for those of you who would like to tag us on Instagram or mention us on Twitter, you can mention us at America with the hashtag @America. And your tweets will be shown over at your right side on our live tweet wall. Okay, so to start this evening's event, I would like to invite our moderator. Please give a warm welcome for one of our Education USA advisors here at America, Ms. Vina Alatas.
Halo, apa kabar? Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. Really appreciate your time. Kita sebelum tutup tahun ya, kita ngomongin SI dulu. My name is Vina. I'm one of the advisors here for EducationUSA America. And bagi kalian yang baru pertama kali ke At America, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what EducationUSA is. Kalau udah pernah, which is kayak I see a lot of familiar face tonight, which is great. Can play with your phone while I'm talking about this, probably. So let's see. Waiting for the presentation to come out. But again, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. Just want to let you know that Education USA selalu ada 2 advisors standing by here. And here it is. What is Education USA? Kita basically part of the State Department, jadi kita langsung di bawah U.S Government, di mana kita punya lebih dari 400 International Student Advising Center di lebih dari 170 negara. Basically what we do is we help you every step of the way. We guide everyone who wants to study S1, S2, S3, and all of our services are free of charge. Di Indonesia, of course, not only here at America, tapi kita juga punya 8 center dengan 10 advisors. So we got 2 in Jakarta, we got 2 in Surabaya, we got 1 in Medan, Malang, Makassar, dan Banda Aceh. So if you have any family members or friends who live in one of these cities, you can tell them they don't have to always come to Jakarta to meet one of our advisors because they can check one of our centers as well. Di Jakarta kita ada di At America, of course, dan di US Embassy. It's just that At America is quite unique because we open every day, right? Kalian tidak perlu bikin appointment, di mana kalau kalian mau ketemu dengan salah satu advisor kita di kedutaan, you have to email them 24 hours before to gain an access to get into the US Embassy. But if you don't want to get the hassle, you can just come in here. This is like a public space, basically. We open every day. Our office hours is also a bit unique because we don't usually do the normal 9 to 5, but we do 1 to 9, right? So like tonight, most of our events, Education USA events, we like to have it in the evening because assuming that you guys are coming off from work, you can just, you don't want to miss our events if we actually have it in the afternoon, right? So our services, we provide you with 5 steps to study in the US. So we start with step 1, which is research your option. So you know you want to study in the US, but you just still don't know where to start. It's okay, just coming in. Di At America ini, di Education USA, bukan berarti untuk orang yang sudah udah mantep banget mau sekolah apa dan di mana, even if you're still thinking about it, or maybe you just want to know like, why should I study in the US? Why not other country? Feel free to come in, and then let's talk about that, right? And then step 2, finance your studies, because it's equally important, because we're going to talk about many options out there in the US on how you fund your study. Is it going to be self-funding? Well, self-funding is going to be easy, but are you also maybe looking for partial scholarship dari government mungkin, atau dari employer, atau dari kampus, right? We're gonna talk a lot about that as well. And then of course completing your application, which is basically what we're going to talk tonight, which is this is under the step 3, part of completing your application. Jadi asumsinya semoga by now you guys actually already in the process of applying. Tapi kalau misalnya belum pun, maybe you just want to come here and see, penasaran deh cara nulis essay tuh sebenarnya gimana sih? It's okay too, right? And then completing your application gak hanya essay pastinya, because it's actually a lot. And dari kita bisa ngecekin your resume or your application process in general. Like you don't know where to look from the website in the information on how to actually really apply to that specific university. We can also help you on that as well. And then of course, after that, you're applying and then you get accepted. Very happy news. And then the next step is applying for your student visa. Because kenapa kita masukin di step ini? Because we just want to let you guys know that applying for student visa in the US is not as hard, or it's not as intimidating as a lot of people might think. Karena sebenarnya Indonesia kita juga punya salah satu negara yang acceptance rate untuk visa belajarnya lumayan tinggi, right? We're talking about more than 96 acceptance rate for the student visa. Dan sebenarnya itu nggak sulit, banyak yang kayak concern about, oh I'm not gonna, like pass the visa. But then again, the number is there, kita punya acceptance rate yang lumayan tinggi, dan it's actually very fast. Within a week, you can actually get it done, everything, right? And then of course after that, step 5 is prepare for your departure, karena setiap tahunnya di Amerika kita selalu ada yang namanya PDO or pre-departure orientation, terbuka untuk umum pastinya, but then this event is actually for those who are actually living to the US. Jadi yang udah terima LOA, sudah siap berangkat, atau yang baru mau apply visa. Jadi kita kasih informasi biasanya setengah hari, itu dari siang sampai malam. The ambassador usually will be here to kind of like meet, ketemu dengan kalian semua yang mau berangkat. Basically eventnya, all the information that you guys need before leaving to the US, the first few things that international students can start doing by the time you get to the US, apa aja sih yang harus disiapin pertama nyampe di sana. So, and then kita juga invite alumni, bisa bagi-bagi cerita juga pengalaman mereka waktu di US dulu kayak gimana, and all that. Like, so it's actually, a lot of things. And then aku juga nggak berhenti di step 5, because when you are actually already in the States, I still like to stay in touch with all of you, karena kita juga di sini punya banyak events yang misalnya chat with current students, right? Jadi kayak misalnya nanti aku bakal undang 5 orang yang sekarang lagi ada di US untuk kayak bagi-bagi cerita nih sama kita yang ada di Indonesia. Gimana sih sekarang pengalaman mereka baru nyampe ke sana, apa aja yang bisa di-share ke kita di sini di Indonesia. Kita biasanya connect with them via Skype. So definitely nggak berhenti di step 5, because then again, we would like to have you with us. Ketika nanti pas pulang pun, aku ingin mengkaryakan kalian dari yang tadinya di EducationUSA di Amerika, belajar cara gimana bisa keterima, sekarang duduk di sini bisa bagi cerita lagi ke kalian yang akan mau berangkat, right? So a lot of events that we can do here with you guys, and so yeah, so if this is your first time and you feel like, oh, I actually like this type of events, I want to know more, you can definitely check bit.do/edusa events, or visit our website, EducationUSA website. But then of course, there is EduAmerica website. EduAmerica website is just that the EducationUSA events will be bergabung dengan events-events yang lain. Which is great also, right? If kalian lihat ada movie screening nih, nanti kita di akhir tahun akan ada movie screening film-film Disney. Di selip-selipnya itu ada event EducationUSA, right? So I think it's also great. But if you just want to take a look our upcoming events that EducationUSA in Indonesia will hold, you can check our website here from EducationUSA official website. So again, there are two advisors here at America. My name is Vina and my colleague Caroline is outside. We are always standing by here, at least one of us. Kalau Kamis, Jumat, Sabtu, usually both of us are here. But on Sunday, Monday, I'm here on my own. Tuesday and Wednesday, my days off, and Caroline will be here. So feel free to email us to just double check our whereabout. Kalau misalnya kalian email aku and then I'm in the office, I will reply right away. If not, it means I'm not here at America, right? We open from 1 until 9, except for Saturday. We actually a bit early. So if you feel like you wanna, coming in early on Saturday, you just don't have anything to do and just wanna, know more about studying in the U.S., feel free to come in because we're already here on a Saturday morning, right, until 9 p.m. So before we begin the presentation, I would also like to mention about our program called EducationUSA Indonesia Targeted Advising Group. This is an interesting program, I should say. We started with EducationUSA Indonesia mentorship program back in 2015. This year, we are changing it. We changed our name to EducationUSA Indonesia Targeted Advising Group. Basically, it's a platform where you will work with me closely, like even more than the usual advising, and at the same time, you can get some guidance from either the alumni or current students yang lagi belajar di Amerika, right? So we match you with our alumni and current students database. So for example, if you want to study I don't know, philosophy at University of Michigan, for example. We can take a look at our database if we have either an alumni or maybe both alumni and current students who's studying philosophy in University of Michigan. And then we contact this person and then I'll be like, hey, would you be interested in helping this prospective students? She or he is interested in studying the same program at the same university, right? The goal is to facilitate the completion of successful university application, and of course, it's free of charge. You don't have to worry about like how much you have to pay for this because you don't have to. We have over 400 alumni database, and it's counting. It's counting by the day. Like every day, I keep having more and more alumni filling in our database. So we actually have more by now. So yeah, we'll be happy to match the alumni with you guys, and of course, the current students as well, which obviously going to be alumni, right? So who are we looking for? Basically everybody. We are looking for applicants yang misalnya sudah ada US government funded scholarships such as Fulbright or USAID, or from Indonesia like LPDP, or maybe if you self-fund your study and you feel like you need some extra eyes to kind of like help you through the application process, you feel free to apply. If you're interested, you can go to this form, or we can talk about this more after this event. So basically, there is no timeline whatsoever in terms of like the deadline for the application process because this is a need-based program, right? So we will follow your schedule. So if you feel like this is the time where I really need some extra guidance from you, I'll be here for you guys, right? It's just that aku yang bakal kayak neror kalian a bit, kayak, okay, di mana sekarang essay-nya? Kapan draftnya selesai, and something like that, right? Dimana kalau misalnya kayak you just want to do like a normal advising session, I will give it back to you guys. Like if you feel like you want to come in here tonight, or maybe not, it's fine. But with the program, I'll be like, pay attention more on your application process, right? I would also like to introduce you with our new program, which I'm very excited about to share with you, called the U.S Essay Clinic. We started, I think, last October. It went well. We definitely want to keep doing this for 2019. So basically, the U.S Essay Clinic is where after you learn about writing an essay tonight, right? You're going to write your essay, your draft, and then usually people will come in here and see me or Caroline, and then we review your essay because that's part of one of our services with EducationUSA, right? And so we got an idea of, hey, why not we put this essays of, number of advices and actually in one room together. So instead of like doing it just one by one, let's do it together. So that way we can actually learn from one essay to another. Dan sebenarnya kalian nggak perlu ngerasa ada kemarin beberapa komen yang kayak, oh I don't feel confident enough to show my draft to, in front of the other advices. But actually no, this is not about telling you, oh this is wrong, this is a bad essay or something like that. But this is actually a room where we actually, oh, so you write this, we can actually make it better by writing this. And then misalnya nanti ada essay lagi berikutnya yang kayak, oh, you actually writing this is actually really good. Nanti the other person, the other advisors can also follow, right? So we usually have it on a Saturday morning, although starting last month, karena sekarang nih November, Desember, Januari itu bulan-bulan yang kalian lagi pada hektik banget kekejar deadline buat essay. Jadi kemarin beberapa kali aku bikin di hari-hari lain juga. But normally starting next year, you're going to take a look at this USSA clinic on a Saturday morning. Like usually we have it on dari jam 11 sampai jam 1. So you can just simply go to just pre-register to bit.do/edusa Indo Essay Clinic, di mana nanti kalian di situ bisa upload your draft. So the thing about this session is you need to have your draft to be in the program, right? Kecuali kalau misalnya nanti karena kita cuma melimit the seats only to 15 people. If you have like some seats left and you don't bring your essay and just want to take a look, feel free to join us. But if we have 15 people coming in and they have their essay ready, and then you coming in without your essay, unfortunately we can't have you join the essay because we want to make the session as small as possible. Jadi kayak lebih lebih enak ya, lebih nggak jadi nggak terlalu rame. Alright, so usually kalau misalnya ada yang datang dan they just simply want to know like how is it to write essay, I like to refer them to this event tonight. Because the presentation that I'm going to talk tonight is basically like the general information, the tips, the secrets about like how you can make a really good essay, right? Whereas for the USSA clinic is where you already start writing, right? And then of course, we very proud to announce that we have this new program called the GMAT. Usually we have TOEFL and GRE, but this is the first time that we actually hold the GMAT workshop. I believe this is the last session, session 4 out of 4. So it's okay if you missed the first 3, but if you just want to come in and see how the GMAT is done, you can definitely come, especially for those who want to study in the business related for the grad level. Okay? So that's it. I'm gonna see it because disclaimer, this is going to be a lot of presentation, but I will try my best not to be not presenting it membosankan, semoga enggak. I'll take questions in the end biar lebih gampang. So if you have some questions, just write it down on your note. I may give you some tips that I will give you some tips that I may or may not have it on the slides. So maybe you kind of like want to take some notes also. But tonight is all about how to write statement of purpose or personal essay, and we're going to take a look apa sih bedanya, dan sebenarnya ada banyak lagi term-term lainnya for US University. So I really hope di sini semuanya untuk yang ke US, nggak ada yang mau ke negara lain luar US. I'm gonna take a look. We're gonna talk also about like the essays from other countries dan apa sih yang bikin beda sebenarnya essay buat ke US. Alright? Okay, so first thing first. What are the differences between statement of purpose, personal statement, personal essay, diversity statement? I have like one of my advisors today telling me from Penn State that another term about like this essay, we got study objective, ada yang mention motivation letter, right? Just FYI, motivation letter is not a common term in the US. It's quite common in Europe, but basically motivation letter is what we can, samakan dengan essay, statement of purpose. Although in terms of like the content, it's actually quite different from US essay to other countries' essay. So statement of purpose biasanya yang paling banyak kalau untuk S2 ya, kalau untuk S1 sih biasanya personal essay atau personal statement. Kalau untuk S2 biasanya statement of purpose yang paling general. So what is it? Well, it's basically just what it's called. It's a statement about your purpose. As easy as that actually. So it discusses about your purpose of what you want to study, right? How is it related to your goals? How is it related to your academic background and all? Personal statement, again, this is similar to like what it's called. It's personal, so it's an essay where you being personal, talking about I want to do this because what makes you want to do this, right? And then diversity statement, sometimes it's optional. Basically, it discusses if you have some story about your community. If you live in a diverse community, dimana kalau aku bilang kita sebagai orang Indonesia udah lumayan diverse, dimana we don't really have a problem in writing diversity statement. Usually it's optional, but sometimes there are some universities that actually ask that mandatory as well. So you have to pay attention to what the university is asking for. So general requirements, some universities might ask you to write more than one essay. Ada beberapa kampus yang hanya minta just statement of purpose. They don't really have, they don't really ask any other thing. Some other campuses, they might ask statement of purpose, personal statement. Ada yang mereka setiap kampus ada spesifik katanya harus berapa. Ada yang enggak, right? We're gonna take a look at that as well. But usually it's from 250 to 750 words each. So it's about 2 pages. Dan a heads up for you guys, kalau misalnya dapat kampus yang mereka nggak mention apapun tentang word limit, doesn't mean that you can write sebanyak-banyaknya, right? You can if you want. If you're a good writer, you can. But many times they just don't have time to read all 5 pages of essay or something like that, right? So we may want to keep it down to 2 pages if possible. But then of course ada juga kampus yang very strict. Mereka bilang hanya no more than 250, no more than 500. Ada beberapa advisees yang ketika melihat ini mikirnya kayak oh yay gampang banget cuma 500 kata. It's actually really hard. It's actually more challenging writing with that short amount of words compared to 750. 750 juga sebenarnya agak lumayan dikit sih. Usually it's 1,000. Right? Tapi normally it's 1.5 pages. It's actually really hard to write that short. Generally it's about 1 to 2 single-spaced pages. Standard fonts, I mean you guys know, 12 points, 1 inch margins, Times New Roman. Who will read this? This is quite important as well because you don't write this essay for you, so you can't just write it with your own style, but you really have to think about who's going to read it. And also a heads up, because I see some of you take picture of the slides. Don't worry, I'll be very happy to share the slides at the end of this event. But if you want to take some pictures, it's fine also. But so yeah, you definitely want to know your audience. And the audience is, ini juga salah satu pertanyaan yang banyak ditanya juga. Basically, it's a member of the admissions committee. So if you wanna do grad, 2 things can happen. Bisa either yang baca esainya itu adalah departemen yang kalian mau masuk, misalnya let's say you want to study, I don't know, chemical engineering, and the people at the chemical engineering department who will be the one who reads your essay, bisa juga ditaruh dulu di pool di admission office, di mana itu untuk semua departemen. They're going to read your essay and then they're gonna share it with each department, right? Kalau untuk S1 normally biasanya itu ditaruh di admission office yang general, nggak necessarily harus di admission committee dari departemen yang kita mau tuju, okay? And what are they looking for is also quite important. They want to read a story. And I know by story, a lot of people think that, oh, that's easy, a story about myself. Oh yeah, that's very easy. And then usually the first essays that I would read from advisees yang baru pertama kali datang ke Amerika, pretty much esainya semuanya sama. You start with, my name is, I graduated from, my GPA was da-da-da-da, I did an internship here, I worked at this company from this year to this year, I did this at my company. And if that is the case for you guys, I'm sorry to say we're going to have a big problem because you have to revise the whole essay. Karena sebenarnya story-nya bukan seperti itu, right? Ini essay seperti itu adalah essay yang aku pun belajar dari banyak advisee in the past. Kalau itu essay yang dipakai kalau kalian tertarik untuk apply ke negara di luar Amerika. So we're talking about Europe and elsewhere, right? Essay in the US is very different, and we're going to take a look how different, right? And this is also why, if you really think about it, kayak ngapain sih ini EducationUSA bikin event tentang essay? Like we already know how to write an essay. So this is why we have this type of program like US Essay Clinic. I try to have this session every month, pretty much like similar slides, but hoping for more like new people every time to basically tell you guys that writing to U.S. universities essay is actually very different, right? So the story is not about like what you've done in the past, but it's actually what you want to do in the future, right? It's actually really hard if you really think about it. A mental picture of who you are as a person as it relates to your fit for graduate or professional school for your future profession. Another thing besides story, which I'm gonna break down more, is you have to sound mature, self-knowledge, purpose, like you know what you want to do, right? You're just not like you're not just like telling the reader what you've done in the past, but I want to do this because I'm gonna do this in the future, right? And writing skills and articulateness is a must also. Characteristics for a successful essay, you have to be able to demonstrate a passion for the profession. So usually kalau misalnya baru pertama kali ini datang ke Amerika, and then kalian bawa draftnya seperti yang aku tadi bilang, cerita tentang your name is, your GPA, your past experience, and then aku bilang kayak we have to do a lot of revision because you may want to mention about what you want to do in the future. And then some of them, ada yang bilang kayak kaget karena, well, I haven't really thought about it. Like, how do I know what I want to do in the future? Because if I haven't even like graduated yet. Well, you have a good point, but this is what makes the US is quite different because it will make you really think that they just don't want to accept you just because, just to give you the degree, but they want to know, they want to get personal with you. Right? Dan actually kemarin ada salah satu advisorku juga yang dia sekarang in the process of writing, and then I like what he said. He said that actually this is the first time for me writing an essay, and it's actually quite fun. Karena dia bilang, I've never really thought about what I want to do in the future, and with writing this essay, it actually make me really realize what I want to do in the future, right? So demonstrated passion has a significant role in a meaningful research project. Kalau misalnya untuk S2 ya, biasanya kalau kalian, if you want to do some research project, demonstrate strong leadership. Some people said, but I don't really have like leadership skills. That's okay. We can talk about like some initiative or like some ideas or anything. It doesn't have to be always about leadership, right? Well acquainted with the admissions process at schools being considered. This is not only about you mentioning that, oh, I'm picking your campus because you guys are top 5 in the world or something like that. It's very boring for the universities because they'll be like, duh, I already know that we are the top universities. You don't have to mention that again. But it has to go deeper than that. You have to like really be able to talk about like what makes the program basically different than others. So you have to do research on that. And we're going to talk about that on my next few slides. No strength and fit of the institutions is similar and demonstrates clear career goals. And here the career goals, I know some people might think, but I mean, okay, look, like let's say I want to work with the government, but I haven't even done anything with the government. That's okay, you can be very ambitious in this part, right? It doesn't have to be like happen, but at least you have a clear idea of what you want to do, right? So, questions to ask yourself when writing statement of purpose. Number 1 is very important. Before you start writing, you may want to start thinking, why do you want to do what you want to do? Why do I want to do this? I want to study environmental science because, I'm very, as a citizen of Indonesia, I'm very concerned about the current situation of our country. Right? And then you elaborate that in the essay. See how different this is from other essay? Other essay is just simply about, hi, my name is, I graduated. It's something that, if you really think about it, it's not something that you would have an EducationUSA advisor looking at your essay, because you can simply just like write that down 30 minutes before the deadline and just tutup mata. Kayak, it's basically just like your life, your past life, right? Whereas for the US, it's not about that. Why? Because you actually already have that on your resume. This is untuk yang S2, S1 mungkin nggak perlu pakai resume. Right? If you really think about that, you're going to submit your CV or resume, right? Which I have separate event on that as well, talking about the differences karena belum banyak yang familiar with resume. If you really think about that, right? Your CV it's in there, everything. Your name, your date of birth, some unnecessary information that actually the US is not really looking for, like your hobby, your marital status or something. We don't have to have that, but tonight we're talking about essays, so I'm not gonna talk about resume, I promise. But the idea is, the reason why the US essays is quite different in terms of the content, because they don't wanna read something that is redundant from the other documents. Because we already know applying to the US is quite complicated to begin with. They ask a lot of documents, aren't they? Right? A lot of documents. They ask GRE, they ask TOEFL, they ask essay, they ask letter of recommendation, they ask resume and CV. Every documents that they ask, they have a reason why they ask that. So they don't want to read your CV with your name in it, and then they start your essay with your name in it, right? So it's gonna be like, just like waste their time. So you wanna make a story that actually not what you already have on your resume, right? So really think about, it's getting personal actually, the first one. And it's okay if you want to go personal on the first essay, and I'm going to tell you why on my next few slides. But you might want to be personal of like really be able to answer tell the admission committee of why you want to do this, right? You can go as far back as your childhood story maybe, right? What makes you want to do this? Probably following your parents' career or something like that. But you have to have like why you want to follow your parents' career, right? What is, if any, the issue you would like to address? So for example, like I mentioned about like this person wants to study environment because he or she is very concerned about, the current situation in Indonesia. Kita berperan lumayan agak lumayan berperan banget dari negara Indonesia dari yang apa sih bilangnya kayak ngasih dampak buruk untuk environment or something like that. So you want to change something, right? Any relevant research, internship, work, or prior to the study. And then when you read this, you'll be like, wait, but I thought you said we don't write anything that we've done in the past. Yes, but if you have anything that is actually related, like really, really related to what you want to study in the future, you can actually pick one. But sometimes people thought, oh, a story, it means everything, right? But just pick one, something that is related. So for example, you want to do chemical engineering, and then currently you're doing a research at this company where, I don't know, you do something for chemical engineering. I know doesn't really help, but I don't really know a lot about chemical engineering, but something like that, right? But you don't want to talk about like, oh, when you did an internship, an internship on something yang nggak related sama chemical engineering. You don't want to put that on your essay, right? So it has to be related. How the program and university you choose over another able to help you address the issue, right? So the first tadi slide sebelumnya aku sempat mention kayak you don't want to mention about the campus hanya dalam dasar ranking doang, but you want to go deeper. And this is what I mean by go deeper. You have to be able to kind of like really address why this university will help you. Right? How the university will help you. So you don't want to say just simply by saying that, oh, I'm applying just because sebenarnya sih gara-gara rankingnya bagus banget. You don't want to, although if that's the case, but you don't want to say that in the essay, right? You want to go like really explain why. So misalnya kayak, oh, I choose this university because misalnya yang mau study kayak, yang science or biology or something like that, di mana this specific university has, one of the best, I don't know, labs or something yang dimana kampus lain gak ada or something like that. So yes, I know kalau misalnya sekarang kalian mikir kayak, but I know nothing about the university I want to apply to. Well, this is the time. This is the time for you to actually really look and learn about what makes the university stand out, right? Why should they select you over another candidate? This is when I'm going to throw in a tips, right? Why should they select you over another candidate? So it means that you have to be able to write something that no other people can write. Really think about it for a second. Write something that no other people can write. Is it hard? Yes, very hard. Is it possible? Very possible. And this is why I'm here, right? I'm not gonna let you guys think about this on your own. But this is why EducationUSA is here. We're going to guide you on that as well. But you definitely need to start thinking about that. So what do I mean by that? Write something that no other people can write. So it means that you don't want to write something like, the reasons why I want to study economics is because I want to make Indonesia's economy better. Other people can write that, right? But if you say, you give some data, you go deeper than that. I don't know, I'm not an economist, but something like, the reasons why I choose economics as my interest program is because currently Indonesia, dimana by this year the government is hoping to see Indonesians GDP, right? So you don't want to say something that's just very like general, right? What goals or purpose you would like to achieve after the program? Again, you can be very ambitious. And it's okay if you haven't actually I want to work with the government, but I haven't done anything. Like I haven't contacted any government level or anything. That's fine. We can just keep mentioning that. I mean, it's still a plan, right? That likely to happen when you graduate, right? What makes your statement of purpose great or your essay great? Basically, the essay is all about fit because, if you really think about it, from the other documents that the universities ask, essay is the only way you can tell the admissions committee about yourself. The only way you can convince the universities that, look, this is what I want to do. I'm going to convince you to accept me to your university. Basically kan pesannya itu ya. Sedangkan kalau misalnya kita lihat dokumen-dokumen lain, itu udah kayak, well, it's more like academic, right? You can't do anything else with your GPA, right? Sekarang kalian mau S2, GPA S1 kalian, you can't really do anything about it. It's going to stay like that forever. Your TOEFL, if you already aced your TOEFL, then good. But then again, it's a number. You can't do anything with the score. Your GRE, your SAT, similar. It's just your academic achievement. Essay is the only one where you can keep changing, you can keep making it better, you can improve the essay over and over again. This is the only way you can tell them why you deserve to be part of the community of that university. And that is basically what they want to know, right? They want to get personal, they want to get to know you in a personal level, and the essay is the only way they will be able to do that. And this is also what makes the US is very unique. Maybe right now you'll be thinking really? That's so weird, I've never heard about this before. And well, it is. I would say this is what makes the US, studying in the US, very unique, because they're not only look for your GRE score, they're not gonna look only for your GPA score. Jadi banyak juga beberapa advisee kita di sini yang datang baru pertama kali tertarik untuk ke US, and they concern a lot about the GPA. Aduh, SAT-ku kurang banget nih, atau my GRE score is just it's not really good. Atau ada beberapa advisee-ku juga, ada salah satu yang datang, deadline-nya kapan? Bulan depan. What are you working on right now? Letters of recommendation. How is your essay? I haven't started yet because I want to focus first on my letters of recommendation. And I said, no, you want to focus more on your essay and not letter of recommendation, which first of all, you are not supposed to write your letters of recommendation. This is my separate event because I'm not going to talk about, because I can keep talking about letter of recommendation. Letter of recommendation is something that you do not want to write yourself. Ethically speaking, is super wrong, right? So I tell the student, no, you want to start writing your essay immediately because this is very important, right? So yeah, good statement of purpose will make a difference over the other documents like good grades and scores, right? Or we can, translate that to holistic, because the US, a lot of universities in the US, they review the applications holistically. Artinya, basically yang aku tadi bilang, mereka nggak hanya ngelihat angka, mereka nggak hanya ngelihat your academic achievement. Mungkin kalau di Indonesia and elsewhere, grades is very important, right? Makanya di sini pasti selalu yang kayak, aku berasal dari sekolah yang biasa aja sih. The university just don't care. They just care about you. That's why they want to know you, right? Atau misalnya kayak GPA aku jelek banget nih atau biasa aja, just 3.0. Yes, they will take a look at your GPA, but they will also take a look at your essay. And so that's that. So what makes your statement of purpose great? You have to be clear. Aku tadi di slide pertama udah bilang, you have to know your reader, which is the admissions committee. So don't assume that your reader understands everything. So when I read your essay, I will try to put myself as someone who is not from Indonesia. So banyak dari kalian yang kayak misalnya naruh kata-kata, I did a research in Bandung, and then that's it. And then I'll be like, what is Bandung? Is it a food? Is it a place? So you have to be clear. Bandung, West Java, or Bandung, or I don't know. Like you have to be very clear. And this is like where I'm coming in and help you on that as well. Concise, use words economically, because then again, we want to make it as short as 2 pages. We don't want to go over. It has to be well written. It's a must. And don't worry about, so when I review the essay, I'm reviewing. I'm not checking your grammar because I think for me, grammar is important. Don't get me wrong, you have to have a grammar. You have to, nggak boleh ada salah-salah grammar, itu penting banget. But usually it's something that I will help the students at the end. But my main job here is to help you in creating a great essay structure-wise, right? And I don't feel comfortable in checking your grammar because I'm not an English native speaker, so I may have like, some grammar errors here and there. So, but I will try my best. We will try my best to help you. Again, like, a lot of natives around us. I can check with some people at the U.S. Embassy if they're willing to help you on that. Or if you're working in a company where there are some English native, doesn't have to be from America. They can also come in from other countries that use English as a first language. You can actually ask them. Don't ask them to check your essay, karena biasanya kalau misalnya kalian bilang checkin essayku dong, banyak orang nggak comfortable because they don't feel like, oh, I'm not qualified enough to check your essay. But tell them to, no, you don't have to check the content, you just have to check my grammar. And then dari situ mereka yang kayak, oh, just the grammar, then that's fine, right? For the structure, feel free to come to EducationUSA for that. Tapi ada juga dari beberapa mereka yang mungkin dulu pernah S2 juga di US or something, which I'm pretty sure they will be happy to check your essay as well. So you have to be organized, definitely answer your questions, and then you'll be like, of course, like everybody knows that. But many times, without you realizing it, you actually don't really answer the whole questions that the university asked. And that's going to be my part in checking that, making sure that you answer your questions. Karena biasanya mereka ada beberapa kampus yang ada kayak 3-4 pertanyaan, and then you guys are too excited in answering question number 1, and then without you realizing it, word limitnya udah habis. And then you only have like 1-2 paragraphs answering question 2, 3, and 4. And that is not good, right? You want to be balanced. It has to be relevant from one paragraph to another. This is part of the story that I mentioned to you earlier, right? Sets you apart from other applicants. This also reflects to what I mentioned earlier. Write something that no other people can write. Speaks to your audience, again, the admissions committee. Establish your voice. If you have some idea, even though it's crazy, put it there. And be honest. Be honest. Don't overinflate your achievements, but also don't underestimate your potential. And this is also a great thing when a stranger kind of like review your essay, and I'll be your stranger. Ada beberapa orang yang berpendapat kalau misalnya dicekin sama orang terdekat itu juga helpful. Definitely, no doubt about it. Ask your best friends, ask your parents, ask your closest colleague in the office. But sometimes, kalau di Indonesia ada juga malah justru makin dekat, makin kayak nggak enak buat kayak ngasih feedback jelek misalnya kan. Tapi kalau misalnya kayak stranger, I'll be your stranger. When you come in to see me, I'll assume that I know nothing about you, which I know nothing about you guys, which I will learn more about you, karena aku bakal bantu kalian pas nulis essay. But I'm not gonna judge or anything like that. So sometimes what I see from the advisees is that mereka malah jadi banyak brainstorming keluar ketika kita lagi ngobrol. Jadi ini tips juga sih sebenarnya yang aku belajar dari ketika aku melakukan di sini di EducationUSA, di mana kayak I think just started like a couple of months ago, di mana kita lagi ngobrol sama salah satu advisee. Kemudian dia banyak mengeluarkan ide-idenya dia, di mana aku bilang kayak, are you going to remember what you just said after this session? And this person said, I don't think so. Why don't you record this session? Jadi sekarang kalau misalnya ada yang minta dibacain esai, aku bilang kayak bawa handphone nggak? Coba nyalain aja recordernya, right? Karena sebenarnya kayak without you really realizing it, I will ask you a lot of questions. So when we sit down and you sit down and hey, could you please check my essay? I will read some of your essays and then I'm gonna ask you a lot. So this is also another reasons kenapa aku nggak bisa baca esai kalian offline. Karena banyak nih kayak kemarin beberapa yang kayak, could you please check my essay via email because I can't come to America. Unless you really cannot go to America, I'll be able to do it. But if you're in Jakarta and it's okay for you to come here, I prefer you to be here because aku lebih suka ketika baca esai ada kaliannya. Because then again, I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions. Why do you write this? Why do you write that? And then why don't you write this? And then you said, oh, I actually want to write this, but I'm not sure if I should write this. And I said, no, you should write what you just said to me. Jadi kita sebenarnya brainstorming bareng juga, right? Tapi kalau misalnya kalian, I live far away from Jakarta, it took me like 5 hours to get here, then that's fine. But again, I don't really do it offline, but we can do either via phone call or WhatsApp call or Skype call. But intinya sih ketika aku baca esai, I want you to be present, right? Where was I? Yeah. So we're gonna take a look at the do's and the don'ts, right? The do's, very important guys, give yourself plenty of time to write it. Ada yang mungkin deadline-nya Desember 15, karena biasanya tuh deadline US tuh paling banyak di tanggal 15 Desember, 15 Januari, 15 Februari, 1 Februari, 1 Januari. Kalau misalnya ada, ini I have a couple of advisees yang sekarang lagi kayak panik banget because could you please read my essay because the deadline is tonight. And then I just skim it through and then actually yes, there are a lot to change, but then I tell the students there is nothing I can do about it. Aku hanya bisa nambahin stress doang, right? So if you have to submit this by tonight, then let's be it. But then I can't do anything. I mean, even if I leave some comments about what needs to be changed, the students might not have like time to really revise it in that such short of time, right? So that's why I like to tell people, give yourself plenty of time to write it. If you guys are here to apply for 2020, great. There is never too late to actually start writing now. Karena deadline-nya bisa kalau untuk 2020 kan start in November next year. I know you'll be like, ya elah masih lama banget kali. But trust me, you definitely want to start writing as soon as possible. And the thing about writing an essay to the US is that you don't have to actually know where you want to apply to. Nggak apa-apa, nggak tahu universitinya nggak apa-apa. But at least you already know what you want to do. That can be the baseline for your essay, right? So please give yourself plenty of time to write it. But then you'll be like, but yeah, no, like really, I do have a deadline that is in January. Can you help me? Of course I will help you. But it depends on where you are in your essay, right? Makanya biasanya yang biasa aku minta itu adalah please bring your draft. It's okay if this is your first draft, you haven't done anything, you haven't written a US essay before, it's okay. At least you already start writing, right? Dari situ aku bisa bilang ke kalian, I can kind of like guess on how many revision you may need. At least I just need to check on how your writing style is, right? Be sure to answer all questions asked. We cover that. Come up with a theme. This is also important. Kecuali untuk yang termasuk untuk yang S2. You want to create a theme, right? So for example, if you want to do study in environment, for example, so then the theme of that essay will be about environment. So dari awal sampai akhir, it is going to be about environment. You don't want to write one paragraph about you doing volunteer teaching English in one village, right? And then you'll be telling me, no, but the university asked me to write my volunteer experience. Yeah, I know, but it's not related. So unless you still have your deadline is still coming masih lama, you may want to start thinking about doing some volunteer activities that is related to your program, right? Karena again ini akan related sama yang the point yang aku tadi mention. From one paragraph to another, it has to be relevant. Karena again kita mau create a story di sini, right? Begin with an attention-grabbing lead or introduction paragraph. It's a must. I put exclamation point here, right? Penting banget untuk punya paragraf pertama yang bagus. Kenapa? I'm gonna tell you a secret, which not gonna be a secret anymore after I'm telling this. Karena sebenarnya nggak semua admission committee will read the whole essay. I mean, think about it, right? They have deadlines. Di mana by tanggal sekian mereka harus kelar semua baca aplikasi yang apply ratusan, right? Mereka harus baca ratusan essay. They're not gonna read the whole thing unless we start with something that is interesting to read. So this is similar to like when you just kalau suka baca lagi iseng-iseng ke toko buku, yuk mau beli buku baru nih, and then you read the synopsis. If it's interesting for you, you're gonna buy it, right? This is similar to writing an essay. So you have to write an introduction paragraph as if you're writing a story. As if you're writing a book, sorry. Right? So nggak apa-apa kalau paragraf berikutnya biasa aja, which I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm gonna help you make a really great essay. But at least the first paragraph, it has to be perfect. Not good, not great, it has to be perfect. Karena tujuan kita di sini gimana caranya si admission committee nggak nge-skip essay kita, tapi ngebaca dari awal sampai akhir, right? Articulate a clear, realistic purpose. So kalau misalnya kalian kesini mau study A, terus aku kan bakal banyak nanya nih, kenapa sih mau study ini? Terus ketahuan nih ternyata karena pengen aja sih dapat S2 gitu, atau orang di kantor sih pada S2 semua, kayaknya kalau nggak ikutan S2 kerasa gimana gitu. So you don't have a purpose, right? You don't have a purpose yet. But when you start writing, you have to start thinking about it, right? Because even if you lie, which practically you can if you want, it's not going to reflect that good in the essay, right? Use concrete examples of life, academic and professional experience to distinguish yourself. Because then again, basically sih sebenarnya ini presentasi aku ngomong berulang-ulang aja sih, right? Karena intinya biar kayak nempel aja. Ini kan kata-katanya aku ganti. Use concrete examples of life, academic, professional experience to distinguish yourself. Basically this is kind of like from my previous slides di mana aku bilang, well, write something that no other people can write, right? Ignore negatives and focus on your strength. Atau misalnya negatif tuh kayak misalnya kayak you have a not good GPA and then you kind of like saying it in a negative tone. So instead of like saying it in a negative tone, well, let's make it positive, like despite of the low GPA that I got from high school or whatever, but I did this, I'm determined to do this and that. Form conclusions that explain the value and meaning of your experience, your future goals, and your future plans. So conclusion paragraph is also important. So if I start with an attention-grabbing introduction paragraph, you want to end it with something good also, right? The don'ts, number 1, grammatical errors. That's a must. But then again, I'm not here to check your grammars because unfortunately I'm not an English native speaker, so I can't really 100% check your grammar. But I can start telling you guys now, kalau misalnya kalian di kantor atau di kampus atau dimanapun ada kenal atau tahu ada an English native speaker, you can start kind of like give them a heads up. Hey, would you be willing to check my grammar? Dan jangan bilang ke mereka, would you be willing to check my essay? Karena biasanya nanti mereka mengiranya kayak they want you to, you want them to kind of like check your whole essay. Dan biasanya banyak yang nggak feel confident about that. So just tell them, no, this is just the grammar, right? Personal pronouns like we or us, we don't want that. Construction like they've, couldn't, should have, you want to say you want to say they have, could not, should have. Listing experiences and achievements. This is the type of essays that you can use if you want to study outside the US, but not really for the US. But if you want to list it, you have to explain it and it has to be related, right? An autobiography or resume approach. I mentioned this earlier. You don't want to write an essay with everything that you've done in the past because then that is already available on the CV, right? You don't want to write something cliches like, I want to do economics because I want to make Indonesia a better place for people to live in. I mean, seriously, guys, you want to be cliche. But you want to be like, fokus aja, right? So if you want to do economics or you want to help the economics in your hometown, for example, mungkin kalian bukan dari Jawa, mungkin kalian dari Indonesia bagian timur, for example, or you want to do you want to help the waste management in your hometown. So very focused, right? But if I want to do for the whole Indonesia, it's fine also, right? References to experience or accomplishments before college. So I did an amazing thing back in high school, and I want everybody in the university to know this. No, you don't write anything back in high school unless you're applying for the undergrad level. Then yes, you want to mention that before college. Tapi untuk yang S2, termasuk juga di resume dan CV, you do not want to put anything before college. Like misalnya jadi seksi bendahara satu angkatan di high school. No, you don't want to write that. I know it's a good accomplishment, but you don't want to write that. Controversial or highly unconventional topics, unless it's kind of like related to your program. Misalnya ada yang mau study, I don't know, like gender equality or something like that. Obviously, the topic, will have to be kind of like controversial. But there are some ways to kind of like making it not controversial in a way. Or misalnya sometimes like I would read some essays di mana the writers talk negative stuff about like what the government like they haven't done this and that. There are some ways to actually not making it like in a negative tone, right? Again, don't assume that your reader understands everything. You want to be as clear as possible. If you mention like some areas, area-area di Indonesia yang kurang kita nggak banyak dengar atau misalnya kayak gitu, you have to be very clear about that. So this is like the technical part. We're gonna take a look at each paragraph of the essay itself. The component of your statement of purpose, you will start with your introduction paragraph, which is basically your aha moment, right? What is the aha moment, the one moment that you tell yourself that, oh my God, this is it. I'm gonna do this. And to get there, I need to study in the US. Think about that. I know a lot of people may not really, think that far, but you can start thinking about it. I wanna do, I wanna be a data scientist or something like that. And then really think about like what made you wanna become one, right? And then you continue with body paragraphs. Body paragraph bisa di 2 paragraph. Jadi paragraph 2, paragraph 3. You talk about your current interest, the situation that is going on currently in Indonesia, your research purpose, your career goals, and then you can break it down into the next paragraph. Jadi body paragraphnya ada 2. Body paragraph 3, usually you have that specifically about the university that you want to apply. So the breakdown is like this. You start with a personal story, right? Karena kita paragraph pertama mau grab the reader's attention. Jadi personal, you have to be very unique, very interesting. Kemudian paragraph kedua, kalian ngomongin kayak setelah kalian bilang kayak I wanna do this karena begini-begini. Di Indonesia, currently, if that's the case, is like this, you provide some data, you provide some facts, di mana sangat dibutuhkan, for example, more researchers in this area or something like that, right? And then kamu bisa continue with, in the past, I have done this and that and this and that. We need more, right? Paragraf berikutnya, and this is how I get there, by going to your university, because this program at this university has this and that, this and that, this and that. That is one specific paragraph, and that is a very important paragraph karena itu nunjukin seberapa kita sudah melakukan research tentang program tersebut ke kampus. Itu satu paragraf di mana kamu nge-convince the reader about why you should be accepted. That one paragraph. Makanya satu paragraf itu kita nggak mau hanya ngomong, makanya saya mau apply ke sekolah kamu karena sekolah kamu ini ranking 5 di dunia. No, they don't want to hear that. Tapi kalau kalian bilang, kenapa? Karena di kampus ini punya program atau punya kurikulum yang di kampus lain tidak ada. Or something like that. So how you can know about this? You have to do your research. Atau kalau misalnya ada beberapa yang nanya, tapi sebenarnya sih program ini biasa aja gitu. Tapi ada kelas nih yang menarik. That's what you want to put in the essay. The reasons why I want to study here is because one of the courses or one of the professors, and it's totally fine to mention that. Alright? So that is for one specific paragraph, and then baru kita tutup dengan conclusion paragraph. Conclusion paragraphnya itu adalah basically answer the easiest way to think about like what should you write on your conclusion paragraph is, so what's next? Right? So what's next? You're going to work with the government, you're going to do a startup, what? Right? Atau misalnya kamu mau melanjutkan apa yang sudah kalian lakukan sekarang. Mention that. Okay? So, let's take a look one by one. Introduction paragraph, a statement of who you are and where you are going. This is one paragraph where you can be very, very, very personal. And this is a good thing. Karena banyak orang ngira kayak, really? I should write this on my essay? Isn't it like too personal? No. This is why one of the reasons why they want to know, why they want to read your essay. They want to know you, right? You should foreground qualities that make you stand out from other applicants. So like unusual experience, maybe you are a member of underrepresented population. So for example, currently there are about 70 something LPDP awardees, and all of them from the East Indonesia. Beasiswa Indonesia Timur. I love reading their essay. Banyak yang awal-awalnya masih banyak yang aku harus bilang mereka untuk revise sih. Tapi setelah kita ngobrol, I love their stories because it's a story that I would not read that from applicants from Jakarta. Because doesn't mean I'm not talking to you guys from Jakarta jadinya kayak essay kalian bakal biasa aja. Just to give you an idea that this applicants from the east side of Indonesia kan kita nggak sering dengar ya. Dari Indonesia Timur apply ke US and have this kind of story. Some of them coming from underrepresented population. They're coming from an area that we may never heard about. They're coming from an area that we've heard about a lot, misalnya kayak Papua or something like that. But they have like a story behind it that we've never heard before. Atau misalnya aku kemarin baca salah satu adviseeku, dia dari Bali. Dia dia make a comparison di essay-nya itu di mana dia memulai dengan ibaratnya kayak who doesn't know Bali, right? Even in the US pun orang tahu Bali, malah mereka ngira Bali itu suatu negara, bukan Bali di dalam Indonesia. Tapi dia bilang Bali is a paradise island, tapi sebenarnya do you know what happened with Balinese kids? Jadi dia mau belajarnya itu di public policy, focusing in education policy. Right? Dimana dia bilang, okay, Bali is all good, everybody knows Bali is a paradise island, but tingkat literasi anak di Bali itu sangat rendah. So you know something like that, what makes the essay very interesting. That kind of story, that kind of unusual story, right? Yeah, maybe you're also first generation to attend college or something. Here's an example. About this person who wants to study what? In scientific research because this person's mom and grandmother passed away from breast cancer. This is an example of an essay. This is an example of a statement that no other people can write, right? Like really think about it. Mungkin di satu periode orang ini apply ke sekolah apapun itu, mau melakukan scientific research, maybe this person is the only one who can write this kind of story, right? So you have to think about that also. Okay. Continued, discuss the genesis and evolution of your research interests. Kalau misalnya memang kalian sudah ada beberapa research projects, what do you intend to study in graduate school and why? What do you intend to study in undergrad study kalau misalnya yang mau S1? Atau kalau misalnya kalau untuk S1 agak sedikit unik karena S1 di US itu kan sebenarnya kalau kita belum punya jurusan yang kita mau, sebenarnya kita bisa bilang undecided, right? So the story is more personal. So it doesn't have to be something that is, oh in the future I want to do this, I want to do that. So untuk undergrad itu masih nggak apa-apa. Untuk grad, you definitely need to know what you want to study, right? How did you get interested in your field? Again, getting personal, really answer, like what is your aha moment? What is the tie-in between your inspiration and your current research interest? What is about your field of study that motivates you to pursue a graduate degree? Basically, like why master's is necessary, right? But then again, the whole point of the introduction paragraph is a turning point or your aha moment when you realized you wanted to pursue this path, right? We're gonna have a problem if when I ask you, kenapa kamu melakukan ini, and your answer would be like, I don't know, because anybody else is doing it, then I can't really help you on that. You really have to like really think of why is it exactly you want to do this, right? The body paragraph, basically the longest portion of your statement. It may sound kind of like boring to some, but it's also very important because then here you will provide some data, you will provide a background of a specific issue, right? Or this is like a background of your idea or your initiative or something. Demonstrate your research or other relevant experience. You may want to highlight your research goals if you have now, and displays your fluency with the discourse of the discipline. So for example, misalnya dari S1 mau S2 programnya nggak nyambung, nggak sama. This is a good way for you to kind of like apa yang related apa. Mungkin itu di kerjaan related, right? Walaupun nggak related di S1, nggak masalah. Another body paragraphs, discuss influences or inspirations in your development as a researcher or scholar, if this is what you're doing right now. Explain how all your research or your relevant experience are related to your current interest. So it has to be related from one paragraph to another. Convey your understanding of the subject matter that you are interested in pursuing your graduate studies. So basically, the short version of this section of the essay is, you know your stuff. You know why you want to do this, right? So how you fit with the program. Explain why graduate school is the next logical step for you. Discuss your plans to accomplish while in graduate schools or PhD program. Explain the benefits of the program in preparation for your next education or profession. This is basically something that you can mix between the body paragraphs and the paragraphs about the campus, right? Mention a particular researcher or professor, and then yes, you can mention them because a lot of people kind of like ask for another confirmation. Ini beneran nih boleh mention professor? It's actually okay, right? Walaupun kalian belum kenal, but you actually found that this professor is teaching this and that, and you believe that it will help you so much on your goals, you can mention it. And actually, if you want to start an introduction to this professor, you can also do that. It's not mandatory untuk master's degree. Untuk PhD, not really, but most candidates, they contact the professor first to kind of like share your work, right? Ada mau PhD nggak di sini? PhD candidates? You got one? Kalau misalnya mau PhD, biasanya it's going to be it's good if you can contact them, share your your research proposal. Untuk S2 you don't have to, but if you want, you can do that. Apalagi kalau kalian sudah make an introduction to this professor, this is kind of like a tips from us. If you contact the professors, for example, hey, my name is da-da-da-da, I'm interested in this program, applying for the 2020. I attach my essay draft here. I'm interested in your work because you do this and da-da-da-da. And then let's say the professor writes back, right? Ada karena beberapa yang kayak gitu dan profesornya nulis balik. Dan kita berharap aja this specific professor will be the one of admission committees for that specific round. So think about it, right? You contact the professor and then you make the professor remembers you, and then ketika dia lagi baca aplikasi, oh, this person, I actually know this person, she or he contacted me a while ago, da-da-da-da. You actually have a better chance to get accepted too. But do you have to do this? Enggak juga. Right? Karena ada juga beberapa murid yang kayak aku bilang, gak apa-apa kamu kontak aja. And then dia balik lagi bilang ke aku, dia gak balas-balas. Ya well, berarti artinya memang dia sibuk. Atau misalnya ada juga yang mereka udah kontak tapi profesornya bilang kayak jawabannya kayak automatic reply gitulah. Ibaratnya kayak good luck with your application. And so we can't expect a lot. But I mean if you want to do that, if you want to do it, you can. Right? And I actually know some of my advisors yang aku dorong untuk it's okay, you can just like email them. And then profesornya balik dengan feedback yang lumayan baik juga. Jadi beliau nanya, oh I'm very interested in what you have to say on your essay. How is your GRE or something like that. Walaupun at the end of the day kalau misalnya memang beliau bukan di admission committee, ya suaranya juga nggak it doesn't mean that you will get accepted 100% juga sih gitu. Right? What attracts you to the program? What particular professors from the program would be appropriate for you to work with. Misalnya kayak kemarin ada salah satu advisee-ku, dia mau apply ke Cornell, I forgot which program, tapi dia bilang, iya aku mau mention profesor ini, karena profesor ini orang Indonesia, dan dia sekarang mengajar di Cornell, dan dia melakukan research yang aku juga sangat pengen. Oh man, like I told him, definitely mention this professor in your essay. Right? It means that this person, walaupun nanti yang baca bukan si profesornya sendiri, yang baca orang lain, tapi it shows the admission committee that, wow, this person actually, did their research. Kayak dia bisa tahu ada salah satu profesor di departemen ini yang sama-sama orang Indonesia seperti dia, right? So it shows them that, yeah, this is like plus for them, right? So something like that. Conclusion paragraph, I know it's quite confusing because if you ask me to write a conclusion, I may not be able to write a conclusion, but I may be able to say if your conclusion is good or not. Basically gampangnya sih conclusion paragraph itu basically kayak nge-wrap up everything that you've said, tapi tidak mengulang, right? Dan ada aspek di situ juga di mana kalian mention so what's next. Gampangnya itu sih, kayak what's next. Dan lebih kayak ke bigger goal-nya aja. Gitu, right? Writer's block. Anybody knows what writer's block is? Writer's block is if you're a writer, if you're a writer writing a book, they just stuck. They don't know what to write. That's what writer's block is. And sometimes it happens. Dan it's very normal, and here I present to you some of the tips, right? Makanya di sini intinya tips dari aku adalah ini memang jadi PR banget ya sebenarnya nulis esai buat ke US. Ini mungkin buat kalian jadi kayak, aduh ini benar-benar harus mikir banget nih nulis esai. Karena mungkin selama ini kalian mikirnya nulis esainya gampang banget kan, yang kayak basically past achievement, which is something that you don't need me to double check your essay gitu. Tapi dengan abis event ini mungkin kalian jadi kayak, aduh ini ribet nih, jadi kayak I need to have like extra times to write esai ini khusus gitu. Nah kalau udah kayak gitu tuh sebenarnya udah agak lumayan stressful tuh, karena kalian udah menaruh beban sebenarnya di otak kalian kalau oh my god I need to write, I need to have 1 hour or 2 hours every day to write. Don't do it, because trust me itu jadi nggak enjoyable when you write. So my tips is always have your notes ready. If you're like old school, like I see some of you like have some notes writing it. Kalau aku sekarang udah kayak everything semuanya di my phone. If you have your notes with you, jangan dibikin nulis esai ini jadi kayak suatu hal yang aduh harus banget nih nulis esai gitu. Tapi kayak just like really think about, oh I have a story to write. Dan ketika ada ide keluar, tulis. Ada ide keluar, tulis. Start with like brainstorming, right? Mungkin nggak perlu juga harus langsung kayak nulis, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna write. Sometimes that is the writer's block will show up, right? Kalian jadi tiba-tiba nggak ada ide. Tapi if you have like kayak bener-bener kayak mumet banget nggak ada, well come to America, come see me, let's have a chat, right? Kayak aku bener-bener gak ada ide banget nih Vina gitu, bantuin dong gitu. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions. Kayak kamu sebenarnya mau ngapain sih program ini? Malah sebenarnya aku bakal nanya balik sih, kayak aku bakal kepo banget kayak sebenarnya mau ngapain sih? Oh kamu mau program ini, emang nanti jadinya bakal ngapain di Indonesia? Sebenarnya without you really knowing it, aku sebenarnya gak ngejebak. I really wanna know because this is a kind of like I love reading essay first of all, dan I love reading essay specifically for the US karena this is the only essays yang aku baca nggak boring. Karena nih essay yang aku bakal baca cerita orang berbeda-beda gitu. And sometimes kayak aku bakal pengen tahu banyak gitu. Dan at the same time sebenarnya tanpa aku sadarin juga ini sebenarnya juga part of the brainstorming juga gitu. Kayak for example, currently I don't know what happens but I have about like 4 to 5 advisees wanting to do data science. Yang 5 essay aku baca sampai sekarang pun aku nggak ngerti tuh mereka mau ngapain sebenarnya. Kayak really hard to understand because I'm not like a science person. I'm very, 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 very poor in science, in data, in computer science. Menurut aku tuh udah kayak dunia lain aja gitu loh. Terus mereka udah ngejelasin berkali-kali kayak ini sebenarnya kamu ngapain sih? Ntar ujung-ujungnya di Indonesia kamu bakal ngapain? Iya jadi nanti di company ini kita bakal data ini. Sampai sekarang pun aku gak bakal ngerti. Tapi justru kayak wow you guys have like a really great vision gitu loh. Dan di situ kita bakal kayak brainstorming bareng. Jadi there are so many ways to like really before starting before you write your essay brainstorm. And another thing, banyak yang ngerasa kayak aduh ini PR banget karena everything has to be in English. Like obviously it has to be in English. But if English is not your first language like many of us here, dan nggak usah ngapain nulis pakai bahasa Inggris di awal, right? Tulis aja pakai bahasa Indonesia dulu, right? Ini kita bicara kalau kalian udah mulai nulis dari sekarang yang deadline-nya masih lama banget ya. Kalau misalnya kalian deadline-nya minggu depan, you don't want to do that. You may not have like time for you to write in bahasa and then you translate it in English. Or maybe you can, I don't know. Just like slow down a bit. Like just write one paragraph, misalnya seminggu ini satu paragraf doang, right? Atau misalnya kayak nggak perlu terbebani dengan kayak aduh ini tapi harus kelar nih paragraf 2, 3, 4, 5 gitu. No, you don't have to do it. Focus first on your first paragraph, right? Tips number 2 is write as long as possible and worry about the words limit later. Karena itu biasanya juga something yang jadi membuat kita jadi kayak takut-takut nulisnya jadi semuanya nggak keluar. Karena kayak aduh ini universitasnya cuma mintanya 500 kata doang, jadi nggak ngerti ini nulis apa. Don't worry about it, just write as many as possible. I got some people coming in with 5 pages of essay. I'll be the one who kind of like tell you, this will stay, this will go, this will stay, this will go. Jadi kalian juga nggak terbebani. So just write whatever you want to write, and then just worry about the content later. Ask others who know you well or may not know you well. At some point, when you ask someone who knows you well, it will be super helpful. Like you ask your professors, "Hey, professor, what do you think if I talk about the specific research that I did with you," or something like that. Ask your colleagues, ask your friends. But sometimes if you talk to strangers like myself, for example, it will also be helpful juga, right? Mungkin ada beberapa orang yang kalau aku sih ngeliatnya sih lebih banyak advice yang kesini, malah jadi kayak makin punya banyak cerita yang sebenarnya malah nggak ada di essay gitu. Dan aku bilang, no, actually what you just said, you write it on your essay. Makanya kayak aku tadi bilang, mungkin kalau ada yang tadi belum sempat datang, aku bilang kalau nanti pas lagi do advising session, reviewing the essay with me, bawa handphone or something, di record juga sesinya gitu. Atau biasanya kayak di US Essay Clinic, kemarin kita juga udah coba, dimana kayak kita brainstorm with not one of them, actually with all of them. Kemarin tuh ada, nggak banyak sih, cuma 4 orang, but we actually brainstorm with 4 of them. Dan aku bilang enaknya kalau di essay klinik ya nggak perlu nge-record di lewat handphone karena kan event kita semuanya di-record. And then after that if you want to take a look at apa yang sudah kita cover di essay klinik, you can actually listen to what you said to yourself in that program, right? And that's basically it. maybe I have like, this is like my extra slides, just in case I have like some few, I have a lot of times left, but I think I will start with Q&A first. Nanti kalau misalnya udah nggak ada Q&A, we can take a look at my secret slides. No, not just a secret. Just like, some common mistakes prospective U.S. international students make when writing university essays is something that I compile since I started working with EducationUSA already 3 years. So aku compile beberapa mistakes-nya biar aku bisa share ke kalian juga, so you guys don't have to do that kind of mistakes anymore. Alright? So I'm gonna open the questions and answers part. Ada yang mau bertanya? Ditunggu dulu mic-nya. We are waiting for the mic. Tunggu sebentar, on the way. Tapi ada nggak sih dari kalian yang deadline-nya bentar lagi? 1, 2, dari sini, 3, 4, 5, okay. Okay, have I read your essay? Ada yang essay udah aku baca? Belum? Well, this is the time for you. And the good news is, although holiday is coming up, I'll be here for you guys. No, but I'll be here. Education essay. And mereka kita nggak pernah tutup. Justru malah di akhir tahun is my favorite time of the year because usually we have movie festivals. Jadi ketika aku lagi nggak advising, I'm gonna be here watching some movies. This year we're going to have some Disney movies. So if you want to come here watching some classical Disney movies, and then after that kita ngobrol-ngobrol tentang essay, boleh banget. But EducationUSA kita di sini buka setiap hari. Alright, okay. Masanya pakai baju biru boleh? Okay. Oh ya, Mas yang di belakang dulu, ntar pindah ke depan ya.
Okay, I will try my English. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dedi Stefano. I work in the government sector as a lecturer in Polytechnic. And I was wondering about your nasihat that we have to be very specific about our purpose. So actually it's merisaukan a lot that I actually want to be educated or get proper education, which for me is very personal also because I think the education in USA is far better than other countries because I actually graduated from Germany for the undergraduate and the graduate, and I looking forward to study PhD in the US, and I also already making some admission, which sadly I have to pay with lots of money because my strategy was making application for many universities, which I think would be a good option. Maybe it will be make more kesempatan is more increase my opportunity to get accepted because when I making application for 6 universities, maybe I get like high percentage to get accepted. But yeah, I think I did the problem with it's too general, but I don't know. Is it not okay? Just we want to say like, yeah, I just want to get proper education, and I think it's very good for my career or for my future. And I don't want to be so crazy ambitious in my statement of purpose. Maybe it will be also in Indonesian perspective is very egoistic. Like you cannot say I want to be the future leader of Indonesia. It's not. So, it's just not right.
Yeah.
Right?
So basically, what I get from you is you want to get more educated, but then at the end you will educate people, right? Because you're a teacher in a way, correct?
Yeah, you're like junior professor or something. Because I don't get PhD, so I am just only a lecturer. Like
so what program? What program do you want to study?
It's only a media studies program because actually I was a media engineering,
right?
And And then I studied some, I did also in Indonesia scholarship in defense universities, but I'm not really sure if I really good enough to go US, especially in the campus like Northwestern or New York University, UCLA.
Have you applied?
Yeah, I did apply.
Okay.
So,
So you're still waiting for the result, or?
No, I already get the result. I get
Oh, you got accepted?
rejected.
Oh, you got rejected. Okay.
Yeah, last years.
Mm-hmm.
So I still try to, or I keep trying to get in the US,
Mm-hmm.
but
Absolutely. Don't give up just yet.
yeah,
I mean, I like your spirit.
my basic, I mean, my alasan is only I want to get proper education because
Yeah.
I know that in my personal experience, US is far better than, not far better, maybe it's with quite distance is better than Germany. So and also in Indonesia, but for the statement of purpose, like I want to, I don't know, I want to find problems in Indonesia. There are so many problems and there are so many specific or more detailed problems. But if you just want to get, I want to get a good education and I want to go to US and I will looking a lot of possibilities. What can I do research in US? So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're still thinking and continuing study in the U.S., let's sit down and like talk about it in terms of like the timeline. Many reasons why people got rejected. Not always solely about your essay, but many times it could also be about the seat. Terlebih untuk S2 dan S3 ya. Kalau S1 sih sebenarnya nggak terlalu. Biasanya banyak yang nanya, kalau S1 ada slot, ada maksimumnya nggak sih? Well, I asked this to the universities and they don't really say there is some slots, kayak mereka bisa nerima berapa orang gitu, mereka bilang nggak ada. Tapi kalau untuk S2, S3, we know that, you know, apalagi untuk S3, it's like a very specific, usually kayak in that one department, they only accept, I don't know, maybe like 5, depends on the program itself, maybe like 5, 10 candidates, right? So for you, maybe many reasons, maybe because, you know, mungkin riset proposalnya masih kurang, atau statement of purpose-nya juga mungkin kurang jelas. The admissions committee don't really know exactly how to help you get what you need. Mungkin di essay-nya terlalu lebih kayak, you mentioned a lot about you wanting to be educated without really mentioning but what you want to do beside yourself. Right? Because just by saying that I want to get educated for myself, it's very easy. It's something that everybody else can write the same thing. And at the end of the day, it is what we want, right? We want to get educated. But then we want to educate it because we want to do something else, right? What we gain from the US education is what we want to share by the time we come back, right? So let's sit down, maybe not tonight, but tomorrow, or we'll find a day. And then maybe you want to bring also your statement of purpose that you used from your previous application, and then we can see from there. All right, good question. Anybody else? Yeah, Mas yang di depan.
Oke, nama saya Hufni, aslinya dari Kupang. Saya sekarang mengajar mathematics di SMP. Saya sebenarnya sudah apply untuk beasiswa Indonesia Timur, BID.
Sudah dapat atau baru mau apply?
Lagi udah mau selesai.
Lagi apa?
Lagi apply karena
lagi apply. Oke, berarti
ya,
yang
tanggal
batch
30,
baru ya. Oke.
Tanggal 30 terakhir. Saya sebenarnya dari tahun-tahun kemarin sudah punya kampus tujuan yaitu Boston University.
Apa?
Boston University.
Boston University,
yeah,
okay.
In Mathematics Education. Dan saya satu hal yang menarik, maksudnya membuat saya untuk bingung melanjutkannya adalah untuk esainya itu sendiri, karena kalau tadi seperti yang Mbak Vina katakan bahwa harus menjawab semua pertanyaan yang ada dengan batas minimal berapa kata dalam satu esai itu. Tapi kalau untuk Boston University itu dia nggak nunjukin harus berapa banyak kata dan pertanyaannya apa aja yang harus kita penuhin. Dan sampai di situ saya kayak, saya mau ngapain untuk esai itu, saya mau tulis apa aja di situ. Itu yang membuat saya untuk bingung untuk apa namanya, untuk melanjutkan, sampai saya berpikir mungkin statement saya yang untuk apply scholarship dikasih ke sana, saya juga nggak tahu seperti itu. Jadi kalau ada kampus, pertanyaan saya adalah kalau ada kampus yang tidak menuliskan persyaratan berapa banyak kata dan juga pertanyaan apa aja yang harus dijawab, apa yang harus kita lakukan?
That is a very great question, karena memang banyak juga kampus yang lumayan vague ya, maksudnya kayak mereka nggak bilang apa-apa, basically cuma bilang statement of purpose, that's it, nggak ada word limit, nggak ada apa. The answer to that is basically the structure that I present here. Karena berarti di sini artinya kalau misalnya memang mereka nggak minta ada spesifik pertanyaan, it's time for us to be creative, right? Karena kan aku tadi udah bilang, essay is the only way to convince the universities that we are different, we are unique, I need to be in your campus, right? Jadi dengan ngikutin struktur yang aku tadi hari ini kita udah bahas malam ini, itu juga udah bisa a good story. And yeah, no, speaking of Kupang, I read a lot of advices from the LPDP BIT yang sekarang udah berjalan, yang dari batch kemarin. A lot of great stories from Kupang. Aku sekarang lagi handle, dia dari Papua, dia nanti pulang-pulang dia mau ngajar di universitas di Papua, which is cuma ada satu kampus negeri.
Cendrawasih.
Iya, I think. Dia di situ bilang dia mau ngajar computer science. Tapi that's it, kayak aku bilang ini revisinya harus agak lumayan banyak nih, because by reading this story, by reading this draft, I have a lot of questions. Kenapa spesifik computer science? You have to be able to answer. Kenapa spesifik computer science? Dia bilang, terus dia nggak pernah kepikiran. Oh, emang harus dimasukin ya? No, I'm asking you now. Terus dia bilang, ya soalnya di Papua itu pengajar computer science-nya semua dibawa dari Jawa, yang orang Papuanya nggak ada. And I wanna be the first. What you just said, put that on the paper. Gitu. Terus dia kayak, oh really? Gitu. Terus yang kedua, kenapa kamu hanya bilang, maksudnya kenapa cuma ada satu universitas negeri di Papua? Itu normal nggak? Karena aku bener-bener nggak tahu nih kan, aku awam banget nih. Karena aku bakal, kayak aku tadi bilang di sini di beberapa slide, aku bilang I'm gonna put myself as if I know nothing about your background or whatever. Terus dia bilang sangat-sangat nggak normal. Dia bilang karena di Jawa aja, di island yang jumlahnya segini, dia punya data. Dia bilang di Jawa aja, dia nunjukin apa gitu. Itu minimum kita punya kampus berapa. Sedangkan di Papua cuman segini nih. Aku tanya alasannya kenapa? Terus dia agak, I need to find the reason gitu. Mungkin entah dari karena the local government atau apa. Well, you write that. You have to make sure the readers know about your background. Kayak kenapa cuma ada satu kampus di Papua dan kenapa computer science. Gitu. So that kind of story. So in your case, dengan kamu hanya bilang kamu mengajar matematika, I want to know more. Kayak why specific math? What is behind it? What makes you want to be a math teacher, right? And asumsinya kalau kamu nanti balik akan jadi math teacher, why that specific subject? Something like that. So you have a story. And bring your hometown, kayak Kupang, tell them what Kupang is. Right? Misalnya kayak kemarin apa sih, ada daerah yang sekarang lagi kayak bukan Papua, bukan Bali, somewhere else di bagian timur yang lagi kayak agak naik daun banget dari segi exposure dari luar negeri gitu kan. Terus tapi di situ dia mau ngomongin tentang, tapi di sini orang lokalnya belum tereducate dari segi waste management. Jadi walaupun sekarang orang-orang di luar itu udah dengar daerah ini, tapi orang lokalnya masih butuh bantuan. Jadi dia mau belajar apa gitu programnya. Very menarik banget deh tentang kayak waste management or something. So you have a story, you already have a story, kita hanya perlu kembangkan lagi aja. So it's really good that you are still in the process of applying. Berarti kamu untuk apply berapa? 2020, right?
Ada 2019 untuk September. Saya rencana untuk itu.
Deadline-nya kapan?
Deadline-nya kalau yang tahun lalu saya lihat Februari itu masih bisa. Deadline terakhirnya itu Februari. Kalau Februari tapi bisa lewat dari Februari masih bisa dengan ketentuan kalau untuk yang Februari ada kayak dilihat khusus untuk mendapatkan beasiswa kampus lagi.
Okay.
Ya,
right.
tapi kalau untuk yang ini enggak.
Yeah, February is definitely coming up soon, right? Karena udah Desember, Januari, Februari. But is it doable? It is doable. It's just that, do you live in Jakarta?
Iya.
Kalau tinggal di Jakarta dan aku bilang kayak kemarin yang anak BT dia orang Papua, dia kebetulan lagi kerja di Jakarta, jadi aku bilang dia deadline-nya bentar lagi Januari tanggal berapa gitu. Revisinya masih agak lumayan harus banyak, cuman aku bilang ini kita harus intensif. And I'll be happy to help, of course. So this February is definitely coming up, but if you haven't done your first draft, this is definitely the time for you to do it. Right, do it as soon as possible and bring it here, and then we can start from there.
Thank you.
Alright, awesome. Dari sini, ya Mas Adon di belakang.
Cek. Ya, saya mau nanya. Saya lagi currently I am applying for statement of purpose untuk program sports management.
Sports management.
Ya.
Very interesting.
Untuk tujuannya itu saya ingin kayak bisa memperkenalkan olahraga yang saya tekuni itu bisa diintroduksi ke luar Indonesia.
Which is apa?
Bela diri tarung derajat.
Hah?
Bela diri tarung derajat.
Oke.
Kemudian dari konten statement of purpose itu kira-kira boundariesnya apa ya? Karena kalau misalnya saya menceritakan tentang olahraga itu misalnya dari latar belakangnya, dari kenapa itu bisa ada olahraganya itu kayak bisa jadi kayak panjang banget gitu. Apakah ada kayak tertentu gitu yang harus dibatasin, seberapa jauh sih saya bisa bahas latar belakang saya terhadap olahraga
Pertanyaanku,
itu?
if you are doing a session right now, pertanyaanku adalah how likely that specific sport bisa masuk ke ranah internasional. Maksudnya itu something yang sangat memungkinkankah atau is this like your personal achievement?
Kalau untuk keadaan sekarang olahraga itu udah diperkenalkan, udah ada di Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia?
Ya, untuk saat ini.
Di US belum?
US belum.
Terus program di US-nya mau ngapain? Maksudnya sports managementnya, are you going to?
I'm thinking about like introduce this sport in the US while I also pursuing the program. Jadi kayak bisa ngembangin di sana, kayak bikin semacam mulai dari organisasinya kecil-kecilan gitu.
Okay, I still don't get it that clear, but I mean I think it can be something like bela diri ini sudah berjalan di Indonesia. Kamu mau mengembangkan bela diri itu di Asia dan di Indonesia dengan kamu belajar sports management yang at the same time you would, ini bagus banget kamu sebenarnya udah punya cerita kok. Bagian diversity story-nya bisa kamu bilang kalau I'll be a good fit in your university wherever that is, karena while I'm studying this is my goal to introduce this bela diri whatever to the community or something like that. So nggak perlu panjang lebar ngejelasin kayak bela dirinya apa, karena sebenarnya kita nggak mau fokusin banget di bela diri ini, nggak mau fokusin banget di bela dirinya sih. Kita mau memfokuskan lebih ke what are you going to gain by studying this program.
Okay.
I hope it makes sense. Paling gampang kalau kamu udah punya draftnya sih. So I get a better idea. Right?
Okay.
And I actually have some. Kamu mau apply kemana?
Untuk sekarang San Francisco.
Oh, okay, interesting. I got one who is currently doing sports management in New York. Kalau nggak salah Columbia or NYU. I'll be happy to connect you with this person. Nanti kamu bisa tanya-tanya ke dia kalau apply sports management seperti apa, programnya seperti apa. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about that more. Are you applying for any scholarship at the moment or?
Currently not yet sih.
Not yet. Okay. Okay. Alright.
Okay.
Tadi ada di sini. Mbaknya yang di depan.
Hello. My name is Sarah and I'm currently a senior in high school. So right now aku masih undecided majornya juga. Terus some of the schools that I want to apply to, they have undecided major.
Right.
So I'm planning to take that for the first year and then find out what I want to do
Yeah.
there, because that's what my brother did.
Yeah.
Cuman aku bingung masukin di essay-nya tuh what do I write if I don't know what I'm actually gonna do.
Good question. So this is like a little background untuk yang S2. Mungkin kalian kayak, mau study ke US undecided. Is it possible? It is possible. This is also what makes US is very unique. I'm pretty sure this is only US who does this. Dimana kamu bisa study ke US S1 ya, bukan S2. Dimana you don't have to have your major yet. Kenapa? Because they will let you explore as many as possible for the first 2 years. So your question would be, apa tadi nanya, kalau misalnya yang undecided, jadi nulis esainya apa? Memang esaiku malam ini lebih heavily untuk S2 ya. Tapi juga sebenarnya kalau misalnya kalian mau S1 yang sudah ada jurusannya mau apa, sebenarnya mirip-mirip sama S2 juga. Hanya bedanya you don't have to really worry about the paragraph where you talk about what you want to do in the future, apa lagi ada masalah di Indonesia ini. It's too far for undergrad applicants because you guys are still in high school, you guys haven't done like workforce or anything like that. So basically kalau untuk S1 sih lebih makanya biasanya mereka bilangnya the term is not statement of purpose because it's a term for S2. Biasanya kan term mereka personal statement ya, personal statement or personal essay. So it's just everything very personal. Tapi yang bisa kita take out dari presentasiku malam ini adalah you still have to be able to write something that no other people can write. So dan aku selalu bilang juga the fact that we are from Indonesia itu udah punya nilai selling point yang tinggi banget. Karena the goal for US universities is to make their university a diverse community, and it's all campuses in the US are like that, right? Mereka mau punya diverse community, and we are not an applicant coming from China or India or apa sih negara lain yang udah banyak ke US, Vietnam, South Korea. We are from Indonesia. There are currently only about 9,000 Indonesian students in the US. I know you guys will be like, itu banyak banget 9,000. But if you really think about it, compared to China yang udah punya ratusan ribu, we are nothing, right? So US universities, also another reasons why a lot of university reps coming to America is because they want to tell you guys that they really want you guys in the US. You guys are so welcome in the US, right? Jadi untuk kayak nulis esainya tetap it can be something very personal about yourself. What makes you very different than other applicants? Kayak misalnya kalau misalnya it's gonna be a problem if you are only gak aktif di sekolah but you get good grades. Karena many times I actually got a lot of advices di mana no activities whatsoever but they got 4.0 GPA. Tapi pas apply ke US malah gak keterima. Right? Kenapa? Karena di US itu mereka tuh holistik banget. Jadi mereka bukan artinya dengan kalian punya 4.0 GPA you will get accepted right away. They want to know more. They want to know more about you again from that essay, and that essay is the only way for you to tell them that, right? So again, it depends on the universities. Biasanya kalau kayak universitas tuh mereka ada pertanyaannya sih. Atau misalnya kalau kalian pakai Common App, ada kayak biasanya tuh ada kayak 7 pertanyaan di mana kalian bisa milih 3 of them, right? And pick something yang memang kalian punya cerita banget. Kalau misalnya kalian nggak punya cerita dan bingung milih dari 7 pertanyaan ini apa yang perlu diambil, let's have a chat. Karena kemarin aku juga sekarang lagi handle ada beberapa anak high school yang lagi mau apply ke US. Esainya ada 3, esainya lebih banyak sebenarnya kalian tuh daripada yang mau S2. Tapi sebenarnya ini menarik sih, you talk a lot about the other side of you. The other side of you being a high school student, right? Being a high school student is just all about, kalau misalnya dari akademiknya ya, it's all about you, get good grades and everything. But we want to know more like the other part of you. Kayak misalnya apa sih di luar kamu sebagai anak high school, who are you? And then you have a story about, I'm actually very active in my church, I'm very active in my mosque, I'm very active doing some volunteer job, di mana aku kemarin ada baca juga, dia suka tuh ngebantuin anak-anak yang tinggal di kolong jembatan, ngajar bahasa Inggris. Little things, just by showing them that it is not only about you being in class, being a good student, is already enough. Right? Does that answer your question? Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Halo Kak, aku Aiko, kelas 11 SMA. Mau nanya, aku kan suka dengar tips gitu, kalau misalkan biar esainya outstanding gitu, kita harus aktif di organisasi kayak yang Kakak ngomong barusan kan. Misalkan jadi OSIS atau jadi panitia atau jadi itu. Nah, padahal aku kira-kira nih mau daftar jurusannya computer science, dan yang Kakak ngomong tadi kan kalau bisa personal essay-nya tuh personal statement-nya tuh yang berhubungan sama majornya kan. Padahal kalau computer science tuh lebih ke science. Terus kalau maksudnya kalau nulis yang kayak organisasi gitu kan lebih ke sosial gitu loh kan, kayak beda gitu. Jadi
Yeah. So I think in the future I need to have like a specific slides about specific on undergrad type of essay. So yes, correct. Aku tadi memang mention kayak harus related to computer science, right? Tapi sebenarnya untuk S1 it doesn't have to be always related to computer science, karena kalau misalnya kamu mau ngambil computer science, paling activity yang kamu bisa lakukan agak mendepnya di sekolah aja kan. So maybe if you have like some other, do you do anything else besides just doing, kalau computer science berarti di sekolah like what do you learn computer science?
Kalau computer science itu kalau di sekolah aku nggak ada pelajaran computer science-nya.
But you wanna study computer science?
Terus aku juga ikut ekskul komputer di sekolah gitu.
Well, there it is. You already have a story to tell. You already have a story to tell. Even though, ya juga sih kayak SMA nggak ada pelajaran computer science ya. But I mean, you tell us like why computer science? Like what makes you interested in computer science? Basically itu sih.
Terus mau nanya lagi, Kakak punya saran nggak kayak maksudnya contoh organisasi-organisasi yang bisa dianggap bagus gitu sama mereka buat
Here's the thing though, with the US, they very value, this is not only untuk yang mau S1 doang, this is only for you guys. They are very value anything like voluntarily, like volunteer jobs, volunteer activities, anything. Tapi memang kalau kayak di essay kan aku tadi bilang ya sempat, kalau misalnya kalian mau masukin tentang kayak aku ini loh aktif loh di volunteering teaching English for this one village, tapi kalian mau studinya environment, it doesn't really relate it. Untuk S2 yes, we may not want to put that, right? Untuk kamu, untuk S1 put it, it's fine. So it's kind of like kalau untuk S1 essay-nya lebih nunjukin ke reader bahwa look, I want to study computer science. I have good grades. You don't mention about you have good grades because they're gonna see that you already have good grades. But you kind of like tell them, I want to do computer science because of this and that. But at the same time, me as in high school students, I'm very active in this and that. Right? Kalau misalnya kamu kesulitan kayak you just about to start doing some activity works and you don't know what. I can connect you with someone who will be able to, like in constant need of people doing volunteer. So yeah, I got some like an alumni currently working in UN, di UN di mana dia always need of volunteering, karena kan kita sekarang di Indonesia lagi banyak apa namanya? Yang kayak lagi nyari, what do you call them? No, like yang sebenarnya mereka lagi keluar dari negaranya untuk kayak looking for help. Buka. Yes, what's that? Yes, waka. Ya, yeah. Kan Indonesia lagi banyak banget ya yang datang dari Afghanistan, dari apa. They're like in constant need of people who can teach them English. This is an example, so I can always connect you with this friend of mine that ada beberapa nih advisor-ku yang mau volunteer ini gitu, or something like that. Alright.
Thank you Kak.
Okay. Any other question? Ya, mbaknya yang di belakang. So I think we don't have time for this common mistakes, but let's keep it going. We have 6 minutes left.
Hi, good evening. My name is Anissa, and now I'm currently applying into U.S. University in Wellesley College in Massachusetts, and I'm just confusing with my essay because I already graduated from high school since 5 years ago, and now I already work for 5 years in the job that I already know, and it's a flight attendant, and it has no relations with the programs that I want to apply. And there is problem is, should I write the things that related back to the my high school activities, or it's better for me to read about the activities during I'm working, or I just back to the high school and told about my story, about the organizations that I follow that, or I make a new story with my work life and make it related with my programs that I would like to apply that.
So is it for undergrad level?
Yes,
Undergrad level.
I just want to start my undergrad levels. That's why it's make me confused about that, because I already work for 5 years, and if I back to the write again about the high school and start with the organizations and things like that, I didn't do that for very long time in the past years, and I didn't do the volunteers too. So what should I do?
So from high school until now, you haven't had any S1 experience?
Yes, I had any.
You have, okay, and then now you want to do S1?
Yes, I just want to start it.
So I think in this case, because you've been in the workforce for that long, I think for the application, for the essay, I would write more on the experience that you've done, and not really so much about what back in high school, because it's kind of like too long ago.
Yep.
But maybe kind of like the way I look at it is, you know, like explaining what you're doing right now, what have you been learning, what have you been doing in the past 5 years, and so on.
And is it okay for the essay if there is no relations with my job now? Because I will apply about the political science, but I working as a flight attendant. But some things that is to be my concern, it happens in my job, and it's inspired me a lot. So
Absolutely, it's totally fine. Karena sebenarnya kalau di US pun, I can confirm you that it is actually normal if you don't have like related relation whatsoever between dari S1 ke S2-nya, karena banyak kok yang misalnya di US S1-nya engineering, S2-nya MBA, right? Because they want to get the business aspect of it. So it's totally fine.
So
totally fine.
I already know about the programs that I want to apply, and in this case, I know one of the associate professors at the programs in the university. Is it a need for me as the undergrad applicants to include him in my application, or is no?
You don't have to, but you can if you want. Kalau misalnya mau ditaruh pun, jadi kesana lebih S-nya lebih jadi kayak S2 sih. But I think it's also okay. It just shows them even more that you've done your research, so it's good.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I got a hint from the team that we actually pretty much like done. But again, I'll be here. We're not closing until 9 p.m. So I'll be answering some questions if you guys have. But then again, you guys, really, really thank you guys for coming out tonight. This is the last event about essay before we meet you guys again next year. Make sure to check our essay clinic if you have your draft. Nanti akan ada di hari Sabtu besok. And the last one, the very, very last one before I don't have any events until next year, itu di hari Kamis depan, tanggal 20 Desember malam. So it will be great if you can come and join the essay clinic, because yeah, let's learn about it together, right? Oh, and also I actually forgot to mention that kalau bagi kalian, apalagi terutama yang mau study ke US untuk tahun 2020 dan butuh pelatihan GRE untuk yang mau S2 dan TOEFL atau TOEFL, EducationUSA Adviser, part of the US Embassy juga akan mengadakan the first time ever GRE and TOEFL class for free di Amerika. Registrasinya masih dibuka. Kita TOEFL ada 12 sesi, GRE ada 11 sesi. If you want to know more about that, I'll be happy to answer some questions. The registration is also already open. I can give you the link. You can just fill it in from your phone or what have you. But okay, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. Really appreciate your time, and I'll give you back to America team, which we all still waiting. Thank you guys.
Okay, can we get another round of applause, please, for Mbak Vina? And now I would like to invite Mbak Vina to take a photo with our Ad America logo. And thank you all so much for coming tonight. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's performance. Have a good evening and see you all at the next Ad America event. Bye-bye, everybody.